Yeah. I got the whole crew in the house. You see Jeff Saturday here, the hater. You see Shay, she's in the house. I know she loves me. She gonna roll with me, okay? This dude, I don't know what the hell is going on with him. It's got there's something wrong with him. And of course, this man just contaminates my Wednesday mornings. But it's all right. It's all right. Top 5 teams in the NFL. Keep in mind, the list is fluid. The list is fluid, okay? Very, very important that we hold on to that. The top 5 teams in the NFL through week 6. Number 5 on the list. Give it to me right now. Bam! The Houston Texans. See C.J. Stroud? See Joe Mixon running that football last week. Even though Nico is gone, you got Stephon Diggs, you got Tank Dell, you got Dalton Schultz. Let me tell you something right now. The Houston Texans ain't going away. And by the way, Nico Ryan's got them boys playing some defense right now. Got to look at the Texans. Only got 1 loss on the season. Got to give respect where respect is due. They're a top 5 team. Let's go to top 4. Please give it to me right now. Bam! The Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. I don't need to mention anybody else. You see the way Derrick Henry's running that football? You see the way he's doing it no matter who he's going up against? You see Lamar Jackson's reminding everybody why he's the reigning league MVP. You know Harbaugh's going to have them brothers, those Rough Riders, playing even tougher as the season progresses. They started off 0-2, but you see what they're doing right now. The Baltimore Ravens are a team to be reckoned with. They top 4. They ain't top 3. Don't give it to me right now. Bam! Did you see what they did to the Cowboys? Did you see what they did to them? I mean, Romp City beat them down, stomped on them, beat them like they stole something. Got Jared Jones threatening journalists, got Dak Prescott looking like the male model Zoolander, and then the next thing you know is an APV out for him. Okay, got no running game. Who the hell is Rico Dowdle, by the way? Not Rico Suave, Rico Dowdle. Somebody needs to talk to me about that. That's your running back. You passed up on Derrick Henry. And by the way, your defense is soft as cottonelle tissue. You got people running through holes. They ain't getting touched for the first 8-9 yards. This is how bad it is in Big D, courtesy of the Detroit Lions. Stomped them like they stole something. Motor City in the house. Detroit Lions, top 3 team. Easy. Top 2, though. Give it to me right now. Bam! The Minnesota Vikings, they are undefeated. And I understand that I'm reluctant to just give but so much love to Sam Darnold because history tells me to be cautious. But Justin Jefferson is that dude. That dude. You understand what I'm saying? Once Aaron Jones is back and doing some things, you know what they can do. And by the way, the MVP of the team could easily be Brian Flores. The way he's got them playing defense, as elite as their defense looks right now. Pressuring the quarterback, sacks, all of that stuff. They can't be ignored. The Minnesota Vikings are undefeated for a reason. We've got to give love and respect where it's due. They top 2. But we know they ain't number 1, and here's the reason why. Give it to me right now. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Because you don't have Patrick Mahomes. That's why nobody else is number 1. This dude, it doesn't matter if Clyde Edwards-Helaire isn't there. It doesn't matter. You understand if Isaiah Pacheco goes down. It doesn't matter if you lost the receiver Rice for the year. Somehow, some way, Travis Kelce's still at a Yankees game with Taylor Swift. He ain't in practice. You know why? Because he ain't got anything to worry about. That's why. Because he got Patrick Mahomes. That's why. And by the way, Spagnuolo in that defense in Kansas City, Andy Reid calling plays on offense. Excuse me. The Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning defending 2-time Super Bowl champions, showing you why. I got the Chiefs. I got the Vikings. I got the Lions. I got the Ravens. I got the Texans as the top 5 teams in the NFL.
Before anyone jumps in, First Take Fam, you can be the first to do it. All you got to do is scan that barcode that's on your screen right now. And you can grade Stephen's A-list. We'll get your take in just a little bit. In the meantime, I've been waiting for the arm. Yeah.
The arm going across. That's the deal right there.
Go ahead, Canty. It's your first shot at it.
I mean, I want to disagree with it, but I had the same exact list yesterday. I mean, this is the perfect list. I got to look at Stephen A. with the perfect list. I got to look at it with a side eye because I feel like there's some plagiarism. I mean, if you're going to use my list, you can at least give me credit for it.
I was too busy to be watching you. I did not know you had that list.
Okay, all right.
I did not. If it was, and I don't steal, I would give credit. I'm not a thief.
No. So I come out with a top 5 list. as challengers to the Kansas City
I got
Chiefs.
you.
Because what's understood ain't got to be said. It's
you.
Andy Reid, it's Pat Mahomes, it's Travis
Makes
Kelce.
sense.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs are off, so you go
Yeah,
through it.
exactly.
In other
But this
words,
is it.
in other words, it's a perfect list. Thank you, my brother.
I
Thank you, my brother.
agree with
Thank you, my
Perfect
brother.
list?
No, I hate to do it.
This
I hate
is not
to
a
do it.
perfect list. And by the way, I was going to get all over Kelsey and Taylor last night at the Yankee game a couple days ago, but I had a dream about him last night that I was their chauffeur. So I'm going to let
He's
him
a
know.
chauffeur.
The chauffeur.
I'm going to let him know.
Hey,
I
too
swear
many
to God, that's
gummies.
Too many gummies.
Too many gummies.
Too many
Not
gummies.
at 3 o'clock in the morning.
too many gummies.
Anyway, I would put the Ravens higher. I'm putting the Vikings a little lower.
Even though they're undefeated.
Yeah, I'm going to put the Ravens should have beaten the Chiefs. The kid was scored a
my
touchdown.
God.
I'm going to put the Ravens 2. I'm going to put the Lions 3. I'll put the Vikings down below here.
So you switch the Vikings and the Ravens, but you leave the Lions at 3.
For the most part. Now, here's the one thing. Here's the one team that I think you should think about and put in here. And I might put them 5. I still believe in the 49ers. And I'll tell you something right
The
now.
list is fluid.
Well, hold on. I'm not done yet. Let me finish. The Chiefs are in San Francisco this weekend.
Yeah.
Niners are favored.
Yeah.
So the bookies, Vegas thinks that San Francisco is equal to Kansas City. Yet he's got Kansas City 1 and not San Francisco. I take the Texans, who shouldn't have beaten Buffalo. McDermott screwed up the game.
That is
I'm
ignorant.
taking the Texans out. I'm putting the 49ers
that
down
is
there.
ignorant.
And I'm switching Ravens.
That is
to 5.
ignorant.
Aren't the
Yeah,
Niners
that is
3 and
ignorant.
3?
I can't get over
Wait a
that.
minute.
That's
That's
Am I?
That's crazy town, dog.
That makes no sense.
Three and
That is horrible. That is horrible. Go ahead.
Jeff, talk some sense into development.
That's terrible.
I don't care what the bookies do.
He's dreaming about Taylor Swift. You go on.
He's a chauffeur, and Fat Rob done talk smoke in his ear. I'm done with that.
I am concerned about the version of Joe Burrow that we're going to see from now until the end of his career, because this wrist injury is something that we don't have a lot of history with quarterbacks being able to bounce back from in the NFL. We just haven't seen it. So I am not going to believe it until I see it. And that's why, sitting here today, I'm selling all the Bengals stock and I'm selling all my Joe Burrow stock.
So he came not only for the team, but for the quarterback as well. Now, I know the Bengals have only notched one more win since then. However, it does feel like Burrow and this offense is coming along. Are you taking back anything you said?
Well, Joey B made a liar out of me on the latter point and selling all of his stock because he's been absolutely phenomenal. Now, that being said, we have to give some criticism to him because he is the quarterback of a team that's 2-4 going into Week 7. And when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals overall, they got a whole lot of goodwill built up from playoff runs that we've seen 2 and 3 years ago. And we got to keep in mind that this team has never gotten out to this kind of start and made a run to the postseason. So when we start looking at the Cincinnati Bengals as a team that could potentially get into the postseason and make a run to the Super Bowl, I would just caution everyone when it comes to what this team is, recognizing that the defense is bad, also recognizing that the offense is one-dimensional, and just how much pressure they're putting on Joe Burrow to be special each and every week. And we saw it in that Sunday night game against the New York Giants. Outside of that one big run that he had early in the game, the offense was uneven. So it's not a sustainable formula for success to ask Joe Burrow to be Superman each and every week.
Oh, I don't mind the latter part of your argument. My problem is how you point the finger of blame in his direction. I think that we have to look at Zach Taylor, the coach. Now, I have said this publicly before you got here this week, Shay, before you were here. I said there needs to be an investigation into Zach Taylor and what the hell he's doing in the offseason. Every single year,
They start
off not winning games in September. What the hell are you doing in the offseason, OTAs, mandatory training camps, preseason? What the hell are you doing? Because they are never prepared come September to win football games. They have operated in a hole. Joe Burrow is 20-9 lifetime from November through the postseason. 69% of his wins.
Pretty good.
20 and I mean the brothers.
Pretty good.
2 AFC championship
That's
games.
pretty good.
In the 4 seasons he's played in the NFL, 2 of the seasons he was hurt. 2 seasons that he's been completely healthy, both AFC championship game appearances, 1 Super Bowl appearance. By the way, beat Patrick Mahomes in order to get to the Super Bowl. This is who the hell this dude is. And what is he doing right now, okay? Off to his best 6-game start in his career, all right? Leads the NFL 110.3 passer rating, second to Josh Allen with a 75.1 QBR, tied for second with 12 touchdown passes, okay? Leads the NFL in deep passing games completion. 56% of his passes with 3 touchdowns. He's completed 59% of his passes when under pressure with a league best 10.2 yards per attempt. The brother is doing his job. You talked about the defense being trash. You talked about the defense being trash. Now, I say this to you. You knowing football the way that you do, CC, and I'll go to Doggy first because I want to give him a chance to talk. But you knowing football the way that you do. If I came to you and I said to you, we're going to have a quarterback playing like this. We're going to have that defense playing like that. We're going to have that coach coaching like that. You going to bring up the quarterback first? Come on now. You know that.
And he did have 378 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns against the Ravens a couple weeks ago. And he played, he didn't do much against the Giants. You're 100% right. But the Giants defense is pretty good, and they won the game. And the Giant offense without Neighbors was a mess. So I'm going to give him that. The game that killed them was the first game of the year. The Washington loss you can live with because Washington's a pretty good team.
Yes.
We didn't know that at the time when they lost the Monday night game. That first game of the year when they got trampled by New England.
You going to blame the defense there?
No, they only scored, no, they're not. Because they only
was
scored 10
16 to
points.
10.
Oh, that's the game that bothers you. Because against Baltimore, if Zach Taylor doesn't run the ball 3 straight times in overtime and throws the ball 10 yards, they don't have to rely on a 53-yard field goal to win, they probably beat the Ravens there a couple weeks ago. And if they had beaten the Ravens at 3-3, you wouldn't say this. And if they had won that first game against a bad New England team at 3-3, now they would be, you wouldn't say it either. So I would not write off the Bengals at all. They play the Browns this week. Browns are a mess. Just traded Cooper. The quarterback's a disaster. Who knows on Stefanski? They're going to beat the Browns in Cleveland. And that puts them at a game under 500. The schedule.
Are we sure they're going to beat the Browns in Cleveland?
I said it yesterday.
I know it's a rivalry. I know it's a rivalry. And look at the end of that season with the schedule. Steelers at Dallas, at Tennessee, the Browns, Broncos, and at the Steelers. That is not that difficult, the last 6-7 games. And that also comes there, Chrissy, before a bye in week 12. So they're in the mix still, I think, in the AFC.
Doggy, you talking about the games in December and January. Their season might be over by Thanksgiving.
Maybe.
And here's the thing. You brought up the New England loss, and I think that's important in this conversation because everybody wants to make Joe Burrow immune to criticism. But in a couple of the games that you're talking about, like the game against the Baltimore Ravens, that game don't get to overtime if Joe Burrow don't throw a pick. In the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, that game doesn't end up the way it is, losing on a Harrison Butker field goal, if Joe Burrow doesn't have the fumble that leads to a touchdown going the other way. So, I mean, there are plays within these games that are directly within Joe Burrow's control that if he doesn't turn the ball over, you're talking about his team having a different result.
In overtime against the Ravens, after Lamar fumbled, the Bengals had a first down at midfield.
Doggy, it shouldn't have gone. Doggy,
he ran the ball 3 straight times.
Doggy, it shouldn't have gone to overtime. If you don't throw a pick, it doesn't go to overtime.
And he's allowed to. He's 378 and 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
I can't kill him on
Doggy, he said before the game that he had to be perfect, and he was right. He might have been a prophet in that way. He wasn't.
How many
perfect
points
in
did
that
he score in
moment.
the game?
Doggy, he scored 38 points.
Well, that's a lot. He scored 38 points because you got to win the game. That's a lot of points.
You needed 42. Or you just needed not to throw the pick.
Yes.
Either way, the quarterback deserves some criticism.
That's why I'm just